If you get the electrical system wrong, in our trailer builds, we'll be chasing problems for a long time. So that's why before I start my installation, before I start my build, I want to make sure I have a plan. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Zach, and this is Cargo Camper DIY, where we discuss taking a cargo trailer and converting it into a camper. So in our last video, we talked about sizing our electrical system correctly, making sure that we've got enough battery and the size of our wires for the load that we're running. In this episode, we want to take those electrical components and see how they work together as a system. Why? Why is this important? The electrical system is really the backbone of our trailer build, because if we were to undersize it, we're going to be constantly trying to manage our loads, making sure that we're not either blowing breakers or that we have enough battery power. Are we going to make it home? Do we have to go home early? If we oversize it, we're going to add complexity to the system. We're going to add weight to the system. These things are easy to fix on paper. That's why we need a plan. Now, just before we get into the plan, I have one thing that I want to mention, and that's my pitch to use quality rated components. There's a flood of cheap components that you don't know what the rating is, you don't know what the testing's been done. So I would highly recommend using quality components. And you can see here, I'll just show you a few components. There's different ratings that we know that these are tested and true, good quality parts. Personally, I'd rather spend a little bit more to have that reliability and safety in my trailer, especially when we're talking about electrical. Now let's get into the plan. So I like to break down our electrical system into three main components: storage, loads, and charging. Once we understand each one of these main sections, our electrical system will make sense. Let's take these now and expand them a little bit on the whiteboard here. Okay. Now, this is not everything in my wiring system, but it should give us a really good idea just so you can see how I go about this. Also, we can discuss some of the components that I'm using in my build. Down below, there will be a link to the components I'm using. I have tried to pick quality components, ones that are actually rated, that I could find safety ratings for, but you'll find them down below if you're interested. We'll start back here at the battery. So we're coming out of our battery, and I'm running into a 250 amp T-fuse. Again, rated quality fuse. Now, how did I size that? Well, I figured out what would be the most that'd be flowing out of here. Well, due to my inverter, it's going to be sucking 200 amps. 250 should be good. Then we're flowing into a battery switch. Look at the size of that battery switch. That's not by accident. That's because it needs to disconnect up to 250 amps. From there, into the bus bars. So these bus bars that I'm using, I ordered them specially because they've got long terminals on them, and they're also spaced apart so that I could use these terminal fuses. Again, using quality parts. This is Blue Sea terminal fuses. And what it is basically, I don't know if you can see that very well, but the fuse just fits right on the stud, and then you can bolt the lug right on top of it. And it's a very compact, effective way to fuse your circuits. Okay, coming from the battery, that's our positive to our bus bars. Now we'll follow the negative. So we're coming out of the battery, we're running into a shunt. I'm running this Victron 500 amp smart shunt. It measures the amount of current flow out of the battery and then how much is flowing back in. It'll display on your phone how much is going out, how much is coming back in. Great tool to have. You can also get a display for it, but I really didn't want all the lights. I'd rather keep it all simple and just have it on my phone. So the shunt is on the negative side, runs into our negative bus bar. Now let's jump back here. We'll talk about the charging. Remember, we're going to see how are we charging the system. So first off, my primary source of charging is going to be my solar panels. Two 400 watt solar panels on the roof. Well, they're running from the roof. They're running into a breaker right here. Special built breaker for solar panels. And what that breaker does, it disconnects this circuit for, say, if you were working on the system anywhere, it stops the solar panels from feeding power into your solar controller without that power anywhere to go. Like, let's say I disconnected my battery here and I didn't shut this off, I could damage my solar controller. From the breaker to the solar controller, I'm running a Victron 150 volt, 60 amp solar controller. From the solar controller fuse to the bus bar. So we've got our solar covered. So the second way I'm charging is through a DC to DC charger. And basically what this does is it takes the voltage coming out of your vehicle and it measures the battery, adjusts the amps accordingly. So that does two things. First off, it causes our batteries to last longer. And second, it causes our truck, our alternator to last longer. Let's say that we've done 5 days of great camping, our batteries just toast, right? Really low. So we plug in our 7-pin, we start up our truck, and right away it's screaming. It's thinking, I need to put all these amps into this battery. And constantly as you're driving, like to fill a 600 amp hour battery, I could drive all day and I'm not going to fill it with a 20 amp DC to DC charger. So it regulates that. It doesn't allow me to burn out my alternator trying to charge this battery. Okay, the next way that I'm charging, and this is just as a last resort, is through a generator. I'm going to have that generator on the box. So the generator is going to go into a 30 amp plug on the side of my trailer. From the 30 amp plug, it's going into my inverter. The inverter has got 3 things built into it. First off, it takes the battery voltage, goes into the inverter, and it changes that into a household plug voltage, so 110. So then you can run plugs off of the inverter. Also, this inverter that I bought, it charges lithium batteries. So it charges at 70 amps. That's quite a bit. That's why I'm running that 30 amp plug. And then the third thing that inverter does is it's a switch. So once I plug into shore power, like whether I'm in a campground or my generator, it'll automatically switch to run from running on my battery for these 110 plugs to running off of shore power. Okay, so that's the charging side of it. Now let's go back to our bus bars and we'll move into our RV fuse panel. This is just a simple way of doing our electrical, to me anyways. Again, it's rated for RVs. It's built for the vibrations, the loads that we're putting on it. So this is gonna be fed from my inverter. It's gonna come down into here. On this side here is breakers for 110 for household current. And then that's going to go out to my plugs. You can see here the RV fuse panel, and I guess you could call it breaker, fuse and breaker panel. So it goes out from there to some plugs. I'm going to have a couple plugs, one outside, a couple inside. That's on this side. On the other side is the fuses. So this is going to be doing all our minor loads, like our lights, our water pump, our smaller loads. That's the RV fuse panel. The next thing you can see how I've got another set of these bus bars here. This is for my high load 12 volt, such as my AC, my bed lift, things that will take a lot of current, which I'm not going to want to run through my RV fuse panel. So that's going to go to this bus bar. I'm going to run these terminal fuses, same thing we've talked about, and then over to my loads. So that's my electrical system. Remember, we could break it down. We're going to store it, we're going to use it, we're going to replace it. I designed this system based on my form of camping. I want to go out for a week. I don't want to be plugged into anything completely off grid. That's why I have a bigger battery. But at the same time, I'm running a propane fridge, a propane stove and oven. So I won't have that constant load of running an electric appliance. But then I have a 12 volt AC system, which draws 50 amps. So I need a big battery. So you can kind of see how all these components start fitting together. The inverter, how many watts are you going to be running off of it? When I figured out what I am going to be running off of my inverter, I knew that a 2000 watt was more than adequate. That way I could size the system based on what I actually am going to be using the trailer for. You think of the solar. I went with quite a bit of solar on the roof. When I'm camping, often I'm camping maybe in the winter or in the shoulder seasons where spring or fall, the sun's low in the horizon. You're just not getting a good charge off of solar panels. So I go with more solar panels. They'll still help me get this battery charged up. But then worst case scenario, I've got my generator as a backup. I've got my alternator as a backup. So that's my electrical system. There's 2 things that I highly recommend you keep in mind. 1, reliability. Use good quality parts and components. That'll save us so many headaches in the future. 2nd, keep it simple. There's very complicated builds taking place with electrical screens and digital readouts and all this extra stuff that we need. I mean, if you're into that, then all the power to you. But if you're not, it's not needed. Just keep it nice and basic and simple. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'd love to get your feedback below. First off, do you have any questions from what we covered? Something I didn't explain very well? Or do you have some suggestions for my system? Something that I've missed. I read all your comments and I do appreciate the feedback. I found that it's helped me improve my trailer quite a few times in the past. In the next video, I'm going to pull out my 12 volt AC. We're going to bench test it, take my electrical system and put it to the test. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.